Uh, Good morning, guys. So welcome to our virtual class. I'm Sir Dex. I'm your virtual class teacher today. Okay. So guys, our topic today is about digital image and videos. Okay. So our objective is to learn how images are digitized, understand the technical feature and mathematical calculation that determine the bit size of a digital image, and understand the process by which a digital video is made. Identify the factors that affect the quality of digital image. Learn about the popular digital image and video file format. Understand the technical attributes of different types of display technologies. Okay. So imaging technologies. So traditional camera invented more than a century ago. It captured image with a few simple components like lens, shutter system, photographic medium such as film. So light from the object is focused by the lens, the quick shutter action exposes the film to light, and the image is permanently captured on film. The film is then developed and printed on a photographic paper. So analog camera capture image, like we said, by exposing photographic film to light. With the scene in front of the lens being reproduced onto the materials thanks to the chemical reaction between the silver halide and the light itself. So the film is then developed into a darkroom and turned into actual photographic print. So guys, a darkroom is used to process photographic film to make prints and to carry out other associated tasks. It is a room that can be completely dark to allow the processing of light-sensitive photographic materials, including film, and photographic paper. So digital camera uses lenses and shutter to capture light inside the body of the camera, just like a traditional film cameras. But this is where similarity ends. Instead of using film to capture an image, as a traditional cameras do, digital camera capture image using image sensor. Okay? So digitize image and video. So a digital image is an electronic film made of string of ones and zeros when stored on a medium. When the image files is processed and shown on display screen or monitor, is called a pixelized image. It composed of many elementary units called pixel, short for picture element, each containing a single unit of color information. So pixelized image is similar to a mosaic. Okay? So digital image is a picture that's stored in a computer. So it has been digitized, which means it has been changed into a sequence of numbers that computer can understand, which is the binary numbers. Okay? So this is sample of a mosaic image. Okay? So they say that digital image is like a mosaic. So mosaic image are image made by cementing together small tiles. It's a picture, usually a photograph has been divided into equal size tile section. So each of which is replaced with another photograph that match the target photo. So we can say photo mosaic are large picture made of a smaller square. And each square can be a different photo or different photo. Next, we have the pixelized image. So digital image is like a mosaic, okay, like we read a while ago. So, but rather than using cut picture image, you see a picture image is used pixel, which represented by a number. Okay, so we can say that digital image is just an array of numbers. Okay, each picture element in the array is called pixel. And pixel is represented by a dot or a square on a computer monitor screen. So pixels are the basic building block of digital image or display. Okay, remember each pixel is represented by a number. So the 32 here could represent a color or a gray level. Okay? So next, we have the vector versus the bitmap. Okay. So a bitmap image. So what is a bitmap image? Okay? A bitmap is a type of memory organization or image file format used to store digital image. Okay? So the term bitmap comes from the computer programming terminology meaning just a map of bits or spatially mapped array of bits. Okay? So bitmap displays space is defined including the color of each pixel. In effect, a bitmap is an array of binary data representing the value of pixel in an image or display. So bitmap images are widely used on digital cameras, smartphone, online. So common bitmap image file types include JPEG, GIF, and PNG. Okay? A bitmap, also called raster, graphic is created from raw of different color pixels that together form an image. Okay? Next, we have the vector graphics. Okay? So image are represented in the form of mathematical expression. Parameters can include attributes such as orientation, length, width, and color. It takes up less storage space than bitmap images. Can be easily scaled without degradation in quality and resolution. Useful for representing geometric shape, but not effective for photographs. Okay? So we have the file extension of vector graphics, the AI, EPS, SVG, and DRW. So unlike JPEG, GIF, and BMP images, vector graphics are not made of grid of pixel. So instead, vector graphics are comprised of paths which are defined by start and end point. So along with other points, curves, and angles along the way. A path can be a line, square, or triangle, or curved shape. This path can be used to create simple drawing or complex diagrams. Paths are even used to define the character of specific typefaces. Okay, so because vector-based images are not made of specific number of dots, they can be scaled to a larger size and not lose image quality. For example, if you blow out a raster graphic, it will look like a blocky or pixelated. So when you blow out a vector graphics, the edges of each object with the graphics stay smooth and clean. So this makes vector graphics ideal for logos, which can be small enough to appear on business card, but can also be scaled to build a billboard. Okay? So common types of vector graphics include Adobe Illustrator, Macromedia Freehand, and EPS files. So many Flash animation also use vector graphics since they are scaled better and typically take up less space than a bitmap. So file extension example again is AI, EPS, SVG, and DR. So what is AI? A file extension represented by Adobe Illustrator artwork file. So this graphic file format is creation of Adobe system for containing vector-based graphic of a single image. Next, we have the EPS or the encapsulated postscript. It's a document structuring, conversioning, compounding. PostScript document format is usable as graphic file format. EPS files are more or less and self-contained. We have the SVG file, is a scalable vector graphic file. So SVG files use an XML-based text format to describe how an image should appear and can be opened with a web. We have the DRBW file extension. It's used for the vector graphics file format, which is supported by many applications. Okay, so next we have the yan. How do we capture image digitally? So we have the traditional versus digital photography. Okay. So like I said a while ago, a camera lens takes all the light rays bouncing around and uses glass to redirect them to a single point. So creating a sharp image while all those lights frame it back together on a digital camera sensor or piece of film, they create a sharp image. Digital camera looks like very much like ordinary film camera, but they work in completely different way. When you press a button to take a photograph with a digital camera, excuse, an aperture opens in the front of the camera and a light stream through the lens. So far, it's just the same as a film camera. So from this point on, however, everything is different. There is no film in digital camera. Instead, there's a piece of electronic equipment that captures the incoming light rays and turns them into electrical signals. This light detector is one of two types, either the charged coupled device or the CCD or the CMOS image sensor. So capturing color image using digital cameras. So we have the lens system, sensor system, the filter system, the memory system, the memory, the processor, the software, and the viewing screen. Okay? So capturing color image using digital cameras. So lens system is used to focus the image onto small array called the CCD or the charged coupled device array. This sensor detects the light and produce electricity proportional to intensify of that light. So here are the example of a CCD chip. Okay, so a CCD use a thin silicon wafer chip. Okay, it is operating in CCD chip which produce the electric charge stored in the photosite. When a photon of light strikes the surface of a certain metal material like a silicon in CCD chip, the energy imparted by the photon can release an electron from the metal. So capture electron formed by interaction of photon with the silicon. So it can measure the electrons from each feature element as a voltage. CCD chip replace the silver halide film which we use in analog cameras. So using CCD, no wet chemistry processing in the darkroom, and image available for immediate feedback. Okay, so that's the advantage of using the digital camera with CCD. Okay, so the question is, which part of the eye is equivalent to charge coupled device or the CCD in the digital camera? So again, so our question is, which part of the eye is equivalent to the charge coupled device CCD in a digital camera? So the answer is retina. Okay, what is retina? So inside of the back of our eyeball contains the retina. Okay, this is the equivalent of the CCD or the film in camera, as it where the image is formed. Okay, this contains sensor that transfer light energy into electrical energy that is transmitted to our brain. Okay. Next, we have the additive color model. So, what is the additive color model? Okay. So, this theory states that all perceivable colors can be made by mixing different amount of red, green, and blue light. So the primary colors of the additive color system. So equal amounts of three primaries give the sensation of white, while the absence of additive primaries is black. For example, a combination of red and green light will appear to be yellow, while a blue and green will appear to be cyan. So the color additive theory is important in the field that deals with the visual perception and mixing color. Okay, guys, remember that we are discussing additive color mixing. Okay, so the mixing happens in the visual system. Okay, and not on the screen. Okay, for example, you can verify by this by examining a TV or computer screen at a high magnification. Color monitor and LCD display only make red, green, and blue light. All other color are synthesized in the visual system. Okay. So next, this example of our image resolved into basic color components. We have the red, the green, and the blue. Next, we have the color palette and the corresponding binary codes. Okay. So computer represent everything as a number, right? In fact, they represent everything using only two numbers, 0 and 1. Okay, expressing number as 0 and 1 is known as using binary numbers. Okay, so most commonly colors are represented in computer using 8-bit numbers. This means that a set of 8 zeros and ones is used to represent to a given color component. So every possible combination of 8 zeros and 1 give us 256 possible levels of colors that we can represent. For example, the decimal integer 0 is represented in 8-bit binary digits of 8 zeros, while the decimal integer of 255 is represented by 8 ones. Okay? So there are many ways to represent colors with numbers. So the most common method in computer is to represent the amount of red, green, and blue primary lights required to mix together to create the desired color. Okay? So this is the tradition because most computer display work by adding together the amount of RGB primaries and the numbers can be used to directly display colors. If a 8 bits number are used, then we can have values ranging from 0 to 255 for each of the RGB primaries of the color. Okay? In the case of black, would be represented by R equals 0, G equals 0, and B equals 0. And white is equals to R equals 255, green is equals to 255, and black is equals to 255. Okay? Okay, so binary codes again. Okay? So colors can be represented by digital bits. Okay? One method is to first convert color into a set of three numbers and then convert the numbers into a binary. Okay, the three numbers represent the amount of red, green, and blue in the color. Okay? This system is called the RGB representation. Okay? So we might decide to rate how much of each of the three color present by giving the number. Okay? So 0 meaning none and 255 meaning a lot of that. Okay? So here are some example. Okay? If you look closely, you will note that the binary representation uses 24 bits, 8 for each color. The first 8 bits are for red, the second 8 bits are for green, and the final 8 bits for blue. For example, in the last color above below, so a bluish purple, a red value of 128 written in a binary of 1 and 7 zeros. And the green value is composed of 8 zeros, and the blue value is composed of 8 ones. Okay? Because computer memory is usually arranged in a group of bits, which is called bytes. Okay? Most color scheme use total number of bits that is used multiple of 8. So 24 bits are often considered sufficient to represent a color with enough shades to faithfully reproduce a photograph. Okay? Although some people believe 32 or even 48 bits are necessary. Okay? So, so next is the color gamut. Okay? Color gamut is directly related to the number of bits assigned per pixel. Okay, the number of bits allocated to each pixel is called the bit depth. So commercial camera usually have a bit of depth of 24, meaning that 244 or roughly 16.7 million colors can be captured by a camera. Okay? So this number of bits is necessary because our eyes are sensitive enough to detect approximately 10 million colors. Okay? So color gamut is the entire range of color and tones achievable by imaging system. More specifically, the portion of the color spectrum that can be reproduced when transforming from RGB color to CMYK colors. So the color gamut of a printer device is determined by the hue, saturation, and lightness of its cyans, magenta, yellow, and black inks. So the brightness and other characteristics of substrate on which they are printed. But computer monitor which display RGB colors typically have larger color gamut than printing device which use CMYK inks, especially in the deep blues and black. This means the printed image will be less vivid than the original RGB image viewed on the screen. Thus, printing the image requires transforming the image from the original RGB color space to the printers. Okay? So next we have calculating digital camera image size. So calculate number of megabytes in color image capture and digital capture can be produced uh, reduce. Okay? So these are the steps. First, multiply the detectors, the number of horizontal pixel by the numbers of vertical pixel to get the total number of pixel of detector. Okay? Then, we multiply the total number of pixel by the bit depth of the detector. It can be 16-bit, 14-bit, or 24-bit. Okay? So, to get the total number of bits of data. Next, dividing the total bits of uh, it equal to the file size of a bytes. Okay? Next, divide the number by bytes by 1048 or sometimes 1024 to get the file size in kilobytes. And divide again by 1024 or 1048 and get the file size in megabytes. Okay? So this is how we get the file size of our image. Okay? This is the formula. Next, we have the scanning color image or the scanner. Okay, scanner has lens, system, sensor array, filter system, processor, mirror, high intensity lamp, like an ordinary uh, digital camera. Okay, so using scanner is another way of capturing digital image. Okay? A scanner is a device that captures image from photographic prints, poster, magazine pages, and similar sources for computer editing and display. Okay? It has a very high resolution. Okay? So, scanning color image, so object to be scanned is placed on a glass. Okay? So the object is illuminated with a high intensity light. Next, the scanning head that carries the CCD array is positioned on the object and slided over scanning takes place. Then the image is filtered through RGB filters and focused on CCD array and by way of mirrors and lenses. And the image is quantized and converted to a binary number, then stored as electronic file. Okay. So next we have the about resolution. Some facts on resolution. So two characteristics determine the quality of the digital image. First is the spatial resolution, and the next is the brightness resolution. So image resolution is typically described in PPI, okay, which refers to how many pixels are displayed per inch of an image. A higher resolution mean that there are more pixels per inch, okay, or our PPI, so pixel per inch, resulting in more pixel information and creating a high quality crisp image. Excuse. Image with lower resolution have fewer pixel and those few pixels are too large. Okay? Usually when image is stretched, they can become visible like image here. Okay? When we stretch the image. So when you change the resolution of image, you're saying how many pixels you want to leave in each of the image. For example, an image is at resolution of 600 ppi will contain 600 pixels within each of the image. So 600 is a lot of pixels to live in just one each, which is why the 600 ppi image will look very crisp and detailed. So now, let's compare that on an image with 72 ppi, okay, which has a lot of fewer pixel per inch. So as you probably guess, it won't be look like nearly as sharp as 600 ppi image, right? So we have a resolution rule of thumb. So when scanning or photographing, always try and capture the image at the largest resolution quality. So why? So the answer is it is better to have more information than not enough, right? So it's much easier for an image editing application like Photoshop to display any unwanted or discard any unwanted image information For example, reducing the size of image, then is to create a new pixel information. Uh, Example, enlarge an image. Okay? So, what is spatial resolution? So, spatial resolution is an indicator of the number of pixels per inch unit length. The more the pixel per unit length, the higher the spatial resolution. The higher the spatial resolution, the better the image quality. So, it affected by image size or the viewing distance. Okay? So, in physics and geoscience, the term spatial resolution refers to the linear spacing of measurement, or the physical dimension that represent a pixel of an image. While in some instruments like cameras and telescope, spatial resolution is directly connected to angular resolution. So in terms of digital image, spatial resolution refers to the number of pixels utilized in construction of the image. Image having higher spatial resolution are composed with a greater number of pixels than those whose lower spatial resolution. Okay? It is a measure how fine an image is, usually expressed in dots per inch or dpi. So the minimum difference or distance between two independently measured or computed values object that can be distinguished by the measurement or analytical method or sensor being considered or used. It provides a limit to precision and accuracy, often called spatial resolution, but also applies to spectral and temporal aspect of remote sensing imaging system. Okay, so resolution is the accuracy in which a given map scale can depict the location and shape of map picture. The larger the map scale, the higher the possible resolution. As a map scale decreases, a resolution diminishes and picture's boundaries must be smoothed, simplified, or not shown at all. In the size of the smallest feature that can be represented in a surface, for example, small area may have be represented as point. Okay, so that's our spatial resolution. So image with different spatial resolution. Okay, so these are example. So this example of two image with different resolution. So guys, what do you notice about the difference, the two image? Okay, so higher resolution, the clearer and the better quality of image. Okay, next we have the brightness resolution. So it's related to bit depth, and that's the number of colors present in an image. Low brightness resolution is equals to fewer colors. Changing the brightness resolution changes the number of colors visible in the image. Human eye can discern about 24 bits worth of information, depending the depending upon the device used to capture the image. Okay? So the degree to which a pixel's digital image represent analog brightness of the corresponding points of the original image. It's dependent largely on the number of bits devoted representing the image processing system of a grayscale. So brightness is an attribute of visual perception in which a source appears to be radiating or reflecting light. In other words, brightness is the perception elicited by luminance of the visual target. Okay? So a measure of how fully, okay, so brightness can be used a measure how fully a pixel in a digital image represent the brightness of the corresponding point in the original image. Okay, so brightness is also refers to the absolute term and should not be confused with lightness. Okay, in colorimetry and color theory, lightness also known as a value or tone it is a representation of variation in the perception of color or color space brightness. Okay. Next, we have the monochrome image. Okay. The term monochrome was usually taken to mean the same as black and white, or more likely grayscale, but may also be used to refer to another combination containing tones of a single color, such as green and white and green and red. Okay. So monochrome computer display is able to display only single color, open green, amber, red, and white or white, and open all the shades of color. So we have a question here. Okay. Is black and white considered a monochromatic? Okay. So all grayscale or black and white image are monochrome as they are made of varying shades of only one color, which is black. However, not all monochrome image are grayscale, as monochromatic image can be made of any color. Okay, an image is made entirely of shades of yellow and would be considered a monochromatic image. Okay, in a film photography, monochrome is typically the use of black and white film. Okay, originally all photograph was done in monochrome, although color photography was possible in the late 19th century. Okay, so what is the difference now between monochrome and the grayscale? Okay, so black and white monochrome has only two color, which is black, ink or toner, and white. Okay, it's used for things like text where you want everything that's printed character to be black and the background is white. Okay, and grayscale contains shade of gray and used for reproducing image in photography and similar processes. Grayscale is a more technical and more accurate term for the type of photography we call black and white. The technical definition of grayscale is an image that's composed exclusively of shades of gray varying from black and white. Okay? So so these are sample of our monochrome image. Okay. Next, our topic is about digital video. Okay. Digital video is motion emulated by showing images in a rapid succession. So visual persistence causes us to see an image for a split second after closing our eyes. Okay? Human eyes can process approximately 20 images per second before losing the ability to distinguish the transition of one image to another. So motion picture industry standard uses 24 frames per second or the FPS to create a continuous motion effect. Okay. So digital video is relatively inexpensive, high quality video format that utilize a digital video signals rather than analog video signals. Consumer and professional use digital video to create video for the web and mobile device and even to create a feature-length movies. Okay, so digital video is electronic representation of moving images in the form of encoded digital data. This contrasts to analog video, which represent moving visual images with analog signal. Okay, so digital video comprised of series of digital image display in rapid succession. Okay, so digital video was first introduced commercially in 1986 with the Sony D1 format. Okay? So, what is digital video used for? Okay, so that's a question again. So digital video is used for modern mobile phones and video conferencing system. So digital video is used for internet distribution media, including streaming video and peer-to-peer movie distribution. So many types of video compression exist for serving digital video over the internet and optical discs. Okay? So digital video can be acquired from a range of sources including cell phone, some digital cameras, as well digital videos cameras. Okay? So digital video can provide us more than just the ability to capture great footage. It provides us with the flexibility to share those moments with others. So we can create slick video presenting our footage with video editing programs and then make a DVD and send copies to our families and friends. Okay? You can also create your own page showcasing your video or upload it in social media and website like Facebook and YouTube. Okay? So Here are example, okay? When you view a copy, okay? When you view a copy of a wedding shot over 10 years ago in an analog format, image deterioration is noticeable, right? So digital video data is broken down into defined individual bits of data and binary formats, series of ones and zero. Okay? Because of this, it is not susceptible to what is referred to generation loss as experienced with analog video when copy. Okay? So distribution of option on your detailed video can be edited within a video editing program and made into high quality format. Okay, and you can share it with your friends and family. Okay, so next is we have here a flipbook. Okay, a stick figure drawn in a different position can be brought to life by flipping the page in rapid succession. Okay, so guys, are you familiar with flipbook? Okay. So a flipbook present a series of picture in rapid succession. Okay, the reader flips through all the pages at an even pace, resulting a short film. Okay, so the image appeared to animate by simulating motion of some other changes. Open software packages and websites are also available to convert digital video files into some custom-made flipbooks. Okay, so next here, how digital video cameras record pictures. Okay, when you understand how digital video camera works, excuse, you are able to make more informed decision when it comes to investing a camera. Understanding how a camcorder works also helps you to take higher quality video footages. Okay, so digital video camera translate the analog information received through the lens into bytes of data. Light from the image you are shooting enter the camera lens and focus onto image sensor located behind it. Some higher-end cameras utilize multiple sensor for higher quality image. The surface of the sensor covered with millions of light-sensitive pixels, the building blocks of all digital image. The moving image, data including colors, and then converted to stream zeros and ones, and then stored into a digital video. Okay. So, the quality of image of the video camera can produce largely dependent amount the resolution, which is measure of pixel density, and by large, the greater the number of pixel and image sensor, the clearer and the crisp the image. So the physical size of CCD also plays role in the picture quality and the video quality. Many entry-level high-definition camcorder have a resolution between 3.3 to 5 megapixel, which is 3.3 or 5 million pixel. Okay? So digital image and video format. So digital image and video formats uh, could not be captured, stored, and disseminated without the existence of standard formats for compression. So these formats provide the sets of rules or protocol required to compress and view image on display device such as television, computer screen, and cellular phones. Excuse. So digital physical characters of files produced from digitized or organized record materials. Okay. So when you take a photograph or video, okay, sorry, when you take a photograph and video, what's essentially happening is that the camera is capturing the data which creates digital image. There are many different types of file formats which can be retrieved and edited using editing software. Okay. So choosing the right file format is important. That can be critical depending on the level of quality, file size, and also the level of post processing you intend to do. Okay. So here are some example of image format. Okay, these are the most common. One of the most common. Okay. It's JPEG, JPEG, GIF, PNG, BMP, and TIP. So JPEG, so these are the commons uh, image format. Okay. So we have the JPEG, the Joint Photographic Expert Group. We have the GIF, the Graphic Interchange Format. We have the PNG, the Portable Network Graphics. We have the BMP, the Bitmap Picture. And we have also the TIFF, the Tag Image Format. Okay. So JPEG, okay. So this is probably the best known of all image file format, right? And what the majority of digital cameras provide a digital output from a camera. The thing you should remember is that JPEG files are compressed quickly in the camera, and as a result is loss of detail and quality. Okay? They are essentially set up to store as many images on the memory cards as possible. Some cameras have options for different quality levels of JPEG. For example, the low, medium, and high. This basically mean, sorry, this basically means that the better the quality that you require, the less compression the camera will perform on the original photograph. So generally speaking, JPEG should be used when photos are for personal use, for social media, album and small prints, and not intended for large size print. Okay? When you don't intend to enhance or edit the photos much in the post-production, uh, for sharing images via email. So without the intention of large size print, okay? So its benefits or pros is small file size means more can be stored in the memory card. Excuse. Excuse. So quicker file transfer because due to smaller file size. So its cons is or negatives is loss of quality due to image compression, less opportunity for image manipulation in photo editing software. Okay? Next, we have the GIF. So like PNGs, GIF files are ideal for use of internet. So using lossless compression means image quality is not sacrificed. And like PNGs, they also offer the ability to maintain transparency and I'll also allow for animation. Okay, however, the limitation of GIF files are they are cannot only contain maximum of 256 color and therefore are not the best choice for photos, but rather image with limited color palette. So its benefits is or consists small file size makes this ideal for use on the web and file can contain animation. Okay, but it has limited colors, mean it's not the best choice for photos. Does not support partial transparency like the drop shadows. Okay. Next, we have the PNG, designed in 90s as an improvement for GIF file format. PNG files are ideal for use of the internet. The strength of PNGs are that they are compressed in lossless format and so retain all the digital details. But unlike other file formats, the quality doesn't mean big file sizes, which are not useful on the internet where you need pages to be loaded quickly. The other benefits of PNG files are they are allowed to partial or total transparency, which is ideal for overlays or logos. Okay, so its benefits is because it's using lossless compression means good image quality, which is not compromised when editing. The ability to maintain transparency, okay, which is ideal for things like overlays and logos. Its negatives or is quality will not be good enough for printing at any size. Okay. So lastly, we have the BMP. Sorry, hindi pa tayo last. We have the BMP. So another lossless file format, BMP, was invented by Microsoft. Initially for use on the Windows platform, but it's now recognized by program as Mac as well. BMP are large files as color data is saved in each individual pixel in the image without any compression. As a result, this provides a high-quality digital file, which are great for use print but not ideal for web uses. So its benefits or pros, okay, so can be used for printing as image, are saved in high-quality format. So its cons or negatives is large file size means a lot of storage is required. Next, we have the TIFF. So this is the most common used industry standard file format and is generally what print on a publisher asks for. Okay? Even in the end, file formats required is a JPEG. The initial capture file would be the TIF. These file formats are usually uncompressed. As a result, offer opportunity for extensive post-processing. Due to the fact that they are uncompressed, they're also much bigger files, so will take much more space both on your memory card and also for storage on your computer. Some cameras offer TIF as a higher image quality level in camera. So its benefits or pros, so its ability to manipulate photos extensively in photo editing software, option to print at the highest quality and much larger size. Its negatives or cons is much bigger file size. Okay, so meaning more storage needed, longer transfer and loading times to its file size. Okay, so next we have the video format. Okay, so we have the MPEG or the Moving Picture Expert Group. We have the AVI, the Audio Video Interleave. We have the WMV or the Windows Media Video, and we have the OMV or the Apple QuickTime. Okay. So the importance of video file formats is the result of two primary factors. First, video files are significantly bigger than most other files, right? So you are likely to save, and as a video resolution continue to increase, the file size only grows. Okay? So what format you choose will play a huge role in determining the file size of the video files. Okay? Second, uh, the video have a lot of different parts that need to be put together into a final package. You have not only the actual video portion, but also the audio extreme and the additional information such as the subtitles, metadata, in some cases, menu structure and more than has to be all work together. Okay, so let's discuss what is MPEG. Okay, MPEG, the MP4, okay, short for the less catchy title MPEG-4, is an extremely popular video format that has greatly inspired by the QuickTime format. Much of its current notoriety can be attributed to the fact that it was developed and later used to great effect by Apple. In fact, the MP4 format was embraced by the iTunes platform and was arguably the Apple's company fixed terms of worldwide notoriety. So its pros, okay, one of its main advantage is the fact that the video format is used on numerous video players beside iTunes, such as VLC, Window Media Player, or GOM Player. Therefore, MP4 files will play on majority of well-known media player. Okay? So being a champion by the behemoth video sharing platform that is YouTube has no doubt helped, okay? But the support is justified okay, by what the formats had to offer. For example, closed caption file formats which have the video subtitle can be easily integrated over MP4 video. So the quality is also beyond reproach. The MP4 format is helpful in streaming video over the internet while losing little of its quality in process. MP4 files are able to produce video near DVD-like quality, and the format is compatible with the most modern technology. So video sharing platform often actively encourage users to upload their files in MP4 format. Okay? So its cons or disadvantage. Okay? So one few of the downside using the formats has to do with the process of editing these files. It is not infrequent for MP4 files that are imported to cause the video software to crash. Therefore, while the MP4 format may sit on the top of the list in a number of areas, it can hardly be referred to as the best video format for editing. Okay? So that's his disadvantage of the MP4. Next, we have the AVI. Okay? If any formats ever stood in the vicinity of becoming the accepted industry standard, that may have been AVI, short for Audio Video Interleave. Okay, the AVI format was developed by Microsoft during the early part of 1990s. Its pros or advantage, okay? So one of its main advantages has always been the fact that AVI remains a very widely supported. So this is not a small part due to the fact that from the beginning, AVI was the default video format for some of the world's most important camera brands. It's also worth mentioning that the fact that both PC and Mac devices support the format. The ABI code helped compress the ABI file size while sacrificing a little of video quality. It's no wonder why the format has retained its popularity. So its cons or disadvantage. Okay, it's not good. While there are few noteworthy shortcomings, it is good to note that uncompressed ABI files are indeed a very large file. Okay, so excuse. So the same codec used to compress file must be used in order to retrieve and to play them. And while YouTube, the biggest video sharing platform in the world, does recommend that is used to upload MP4 files, ABI format is itself supported by the website together with the file extension of MOB, WMB, PLB, 3GP, MPEGs, okay, and more. Okay. Next, we have the WMB. Okay. So when Microsoft developed the Windows Media Video or the MPV, their belief was that the new format would come to dominate the world of online video streaming. Its connection to Windows brand has certainly increased its visibility. So its pros or advantage, WMB's biggest talking point was that drastically reduced the size of save file, which could be easily transferred through um, emails. Also, it's frequently used to store video files in the world's most popular operating system, which is Windows. Other programs also make use of it for short animation. So its cons or disadvantage. Okay. On the other hand, the main disadvantage with the small WMB file is the way in which the image quality is retained after compression. Okay. Furthermore, as the video format was created with the window in mind, it's not easy to find a media player capable of running WMB files in other operating system. Okay. Next, lastly, we have the MOB. The MOB or the QuickTime format was developed by Apple specifically with the target of being used by those seeking to edit videos. So the movies created could be separated into numerous tracks that allows the storage of different types of data. So its greatest asset is simplicity. Okay? The MOV format benefits a smooth, attractive design that should be held even newest user edit their videos to high standard. Furthermore, MOV can also be easily used in conjunction with other format. So its cons or disadvantage, okay? So some of its drawbacks have to do with the relatively large file. It's create as compared formats such as AVI, okay, or an MP4 can be seen in descendants of MOV file. Using similar lousy compression standard, this pack usually makes more preferable option to its descendants. Okay, excuse. So that's our the most common video formats we use today. Next, we have the display technologies. Okay, we have the CRT or the cathode ray tube, LCD, the liquid crystal display. We have the LED or the light emitting diode, and the plasma display. Okay. So the term display mode refers to the characteristic of a monitor, okay, of a monitor or computer display, okay. In particular, maximum numbers of color and the maximum image resolution, okay. So by its pixel horizontally, by its pixel vertically. Okay, there are several display modes that can be found in a personal computer today. Okay, so first let's discuss the CRT display. Okay, CRT, okay, some computer monitors, so traditional television set. Okay, the cartridge ray tube emits three electron beams, first trends the direction of the travel and controlled electromagnetically by a beam deflection mechanism, follow a raster scans format. Okay, so the cathode ray tube or the CRT is a vacuum tube that contains one or more electrons guns and phosphorescent screen, and it's used to display image on modulate, accelerates, and deflects electron beams onto the screen to create images. Excuse. A CRT monitor contains millions of tiny red, greens, and blue phosphor dots that glow when struck by electron beam, then travel across the screen to create a visible image. Electrons are negative. The anode is positive, so it attracts the electrons pouring out the cathode. Okay? So what are the advantages of maintaining CRT or using the CRT display? Okay, so there are many advantages of CRT. One of major is the fact that CRT used tried and true technology that has been in successful application for many decades. So that doesn't mean it's old, it means it's reliable solution. Its addition are also cost effective, okay? High value components can be refurbished or reused, available and accessible, eco-friendly, okay? So proven no need for costly and risky system updates when you're working with familiar or unstable design. Okay, so that's our CRT display. Okay, so next we have the LCD. Okay, so LCD displays using laptops, computer, digital camcorders, gaming devices, cellular phones, use liquid crystal material whose properties can be varied by electrical signals. An LCD system contains two glass plates that sandwich a liquid with tiny crystal within small cells. Two polarizing filters on each side of the glass plates of color filters and backlighting for illumination from one face of the plates. Okay? So LCD stands for liquid crystal display is a flat panel display technology commonly used in TV and computer monitors. It's also used in screen for mobile devices such as laptops and tablets and smartphones. Okay, so LCD display don't ju- look sorry L- LCD display don't just look different than bulky CRT monitors. The way they operate significantly different as well. Instead of firing electrons at the glass of the screen, an LCD has a backlight that provide lights to individual pixels arranged in rectangular grids. Each pixel has a red, green, and blue RGB subpixel that can be turned on and off. When all of the subpixels are turned off, it appears black. When all the subpixels turn on 100%, it appears white. By adjusting the individual levels of red, green, and blue light, millions of colors combination are possible. So how an LCD works? Okay, so a backlight in liquid crystal display provide an even light source behind the screen. This light is polarized, meaning only half of the light shines through to the liquid crystal layer. So the liquid crystal are made of a part of solid part liquid crystal that have twisted by applying electrical voltage to them. They block the polarized light when they are off, but reflect the red and green and blue light when activated. Okay? Each LCD screen contains the matrix of pixel that displays the image of the screen. Okay? Early LCD has passive matrix screen which controlled by individual pixel sending charts to their rows and columns. Okay? So that's how an LCD uh, display works. Okay, next we have the LED display. Okay, LED display present both still and time-varying digital images. So used in large billboard, concert hall, marquees, and sports events. An array of tiny light-emitting diodes similar to small bulb which emit light of a certain color. Okay. An LED display or the light-emitting diode display is a flat panel display that uses light-emitting diodes. Okay. Uh, an LED can be either small or a big display. Okay. LED diodes are used in order to make up LED display. LED display are also used in billboards and store signs. Okay. So an LED screen is actually an LCD screen. Okay. So, but instead of having normal CCFL backlight, is used light emitting diode as a source of light behind a screen. An LED is more energy efficient and a lot smaller than CCFL, enabling a thinner television screen. Marketing made a lot of fuss about LED TV, but it is only the backlight that changed, so there is actually no picture quality improvement over a normal LCD screen. Okay, so what's the difference between the LED and the LCD? Okay, the basic technology is the same in the both television type have two layers of polarized glass through which a liquid crystal both black pass light. So really LED TVs are subset of LCD TVs. So the difference is in lights and in lightning placement has generally meant that LED TV can be thinner than LCD. Although this is starting to change, it has also meant that LED TV runs with greater energy efficiency and can provide a clearer, better picture than the general LCD screen. So LED provides a better picture for two basic reasons. Okay, first, LED works with the color wheel or distinct RGB color lights, the red, green, and blue, to produce more realistic and sharper color. Second, lights emitting diode can be dimmed. The dimming capability of backlight lighting LED TV allows a picture to display with a true black by darkening the light and blocking the more light from passing through the panel. Okay, so that's our LED display works. Okay, so this is our example of an LED display. Okay, next we have the plasma display. So plasma display use an ionized gas that's trapped inside the cell between two glass plates. Each cell acts like a miniature fluorescent bulb. Okay? The intensity of light emitted by each cell is controlled with electrical signal and various phosphor that glows on a red as red, green, and blue painted on the glass plates as a light from the cell impedes on them. The combination of red and green blue phosphor forms a color of each pixel in display. So, plasma display is a flat panel display once commonly used for television 30 inches in size or larger. So plasma display are thinner than a cathode ray tube display, a technology used in the first commercially made electronic television set. Okay? Plasma display are class plasma because each pixel in the screen is illuminated by a tiny bit of plasma. When electrode applies electrical current to a small cell filled with a noble gas mixture like neon and xenon, it excites the gas, then ionizes it to transform into a plasma. The plasma then emits ultraviolet light, and once the light hits the phosphor coating lining in each cell, it causes the phosphor to glow a visible light. Just think of each individual subpixel of plasma display as a tiny neon light of fluorescent tube. So the technology is same, just a smaller scale. Okay? So what is the advantages of the plasma display? So plasma display have been known to boost better black levels than many LCD screen. Although LCD screen technology has greatly improved in recent years. A pricier LED backlight, okay, LCD screen with a local dimming, for instance, have black level comparable to those of plasma display. Okay, due to how plasma display works, they can provide precise control of the relative level of brightness and intensity for red, blue, and green subpixel. The display therefore have deep contrast, texture, image, and rich color. So due to the lack of polarizing filters, they have good viewing angles too. So another advantage is that the fluorescent phosphor coating lining each subpixel can stop glowing with nanoseconds, eliminating a problem known as a motion blur. So pixel lower end LCD screen cannot shutter as close as fast, meaning they have poor refresh rates which result in motion blur. So the disadvantage of plasma display, it has a burn-in was a problem, often associated with the early plasma display. So, but it can still occur today. It happened when the same picture display for a long period. If something bright is shown on plasma display for too long, such as a network logo, it could leave a visible yet faint image behind. So plasma display are also known as the large energy consumption, especially compared for those instant LED backlight and LCD screen. And despite all that energy waste, plasma displays, which are highly glossy and reflective sometimes, don't shine as bright as new LED or CFL backlight screen. Okay, so that's a disadvantage of our plasma display. Okay, so sample our plasma display. Next, the technical characteristic of display device. Okay, so we have the spatial resolution, again, screen size, pixel dot pitch, okay, brightness resolution or the bitmap. Okay, sorry. So the term blurriness and sharpness are used, are used uh, for digital image, but other descriptions are used to represent the hardware capturing and displaying the image. Okay. So the spatial resolution refers to the ability of imaging modality to difference two objects. So low spatial resolution techniques will be unable to difference between two objects that are relatively close together. So image at left has a higher pixel count than the one to the right, upward, but it is still upward spatial resolution. Okay, the measure of how closely lines can be resolved an image is called uh, spatial resolution. It depends on the properties on the system, creating image, not just a pixel resolution in pixel per inch. For practical purposes, the clarity of the image is decided by the spatial resolution, not the number of pixels in an image. In effect, spatial resolution refers to the numbers of independent pixel values per unit length. Okay? So the spatial resolution of consumer display range from 50 to 800 pixel lines per inch. With scanner optical resolution sometimes used to distinguish spatial resolution from the number of pixels per inch. Okay. Next, we have the measurement of the screen size. Okay. The size of the screen is usually described by the inch of the diagonal, which is the distance between the opposite side of the corner. Usually in inch, it's also sometimes called the physical image size to distinguish it from the logical image size, which is described as a screen. Display resolution is measured in pixel. Okay. Next, we have the pixel or the dot per inch, dot pitch. Okay. So dot pitch or pixel pitch is measurement that defines the sharpness of a display. Okay. It measures the distance between the dots used to display the image on the screen. This image is very small and typically measured in fraction of millimeters. Okay, the smaller the dot pitch, the sharper the picture. Okay, so the pinch applies to both CRT monitors and flat screens display. Some large screen CRT have the dot pitch of high of 0.51 millimeter. So most computer display have dot pitch between 0.25 and 0.28 millimeter. Similarly, most LCD display have a dot pitch between 0.28 and 0.28 millimeter. So some high-end display used for scientific or medical imager have that pitch as low of 0.15 millimeter. So this display usually costs several times as much as a consumer display on the same size. Okay. Next we have we have the bit depth. Okay, bit depth refers to the color information stored in an image. The higher the bit depth of an image, the more color it can store. The simplest image, an A1 bit image can only show two colors, black and white. That's because the one bit can only store two values, and 0, 1, and white. So 0 is for white, and 1 is for black. Okay? For consumer video standard, the bit depth specifies the number of bits used for each color component. The color depth is the only one aspect of color representation expressing the precision with the amount of each primary can be expressed. The other aspects how the broad of range of the colors can be expressed. The definition of both color precision and the gamut is accomplished with a color encoding specification assigned to a digital code value to a localization of space of a color space. Sorry. Okay. So here are the summary of our lesson today. So a digital email file is made up of string of 1 and zeros that represent the pixelized image. Pixelized image is made up rows and columns of pixel, each with the unique colors are shaded with the binary code expressed in each pixel color. Two characteristics that determine the quality of image are spatial resolution and brightness resolution. So spatial resolution indicates the number of pixels per unit length, okay, contained in image. So brightness resolution describes the bit depth and the number of different colors are inherently present in the image. So digital video is based on principle of motion and emulation. Because the human eye can distinguish at most 20 images per second, the frame rate standard used in the motion picture standard is 24 frames per second, which creates an illusion of perfect continuous motion effect. The formats such as JPEG, GIF, BMP, PNG, TIF, MPEG, AVI, WMV, and OBI provide the rules for structuring and compressing the files that allows to share and display image and videos. Okay? The most common device for displaying digital images are plasma display, LCD, CRT display, and LDD display. And lastly, the design feature that contribute to the quality of display device are the spatial resolution, screen size, pixel pitch, and the brightness resolution called bit depth. Okay? So, thank you guys for watching. So, if you have question, so you can send me a message here or in our LMS.